Hey everyone, it's Zach Randles-Friedman, and welcome back to the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm going to give you a weekend roundup of LGBTQ plus news, culture, and everything in between. Today's stories will touch on faith, law, politics, pop culture, and pride. From church defiance in the UK to a big win for a trans athlete in the US, and some major milestones around the world. Let's dive in. My first story is the biggest story for the LGBTQ plus community currently in the news. So for nearly a decade after she became a national symbol of resistance to marriage equality, former Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis is back in headlines, and her legal fight could once again test the limits of religious freedom in America. I did not think this was going to actually happen a few weeks ago because Amy Coney Barrett actually came and said that she was going to leave same-sex marriage alone. However, the latest news is the U.S. Supreme Court is scheduled to consider whether to hear Davis's latest challenge to same-sex marriage at its private conference on Friday, November 7th. This will be the first time her case officially lands before the justices since her 2015 refusal to issue marriage licenses to gay couples, even after the landmark ruling that guaranteed that right nationwide. At the time, Davis claimed issuing a license would violate her Christian beliefs. She was briefly jailed for contempt of court and became a hero to some conservatives, while LGBTQ plus advocates saw her as a government official openly defying the law of the land. Since then, two couples, David Emerald and David Moore, and James Yates and Will Smith, have pursued civil suits against Davis, arguing that her refusal violated their constitutional rights. In 2023, a federal judge agreed, ruling that she knowingly violated her right to marry. Now, Davis and her legal team from the Liberty Council, a conservative Christian advocacy group, are asking the Supreme Court to reconsider whether government employees can be held personally liable when their religious beliefs conflict with their official duties. If the justices agree to hear the case, it could reopen a deeply divisive debate about religious liberty and LGBTQ plus equality, one that many thought had been settled a decade ago. But if they decline, the lower court's ruling against Davis will stand. Either way, this case could mark a new flashpoint in America's ongoing struggle to balance faith, freedom, and fairness. And again, just to give you a little bit of background on Kim Davis, married, divorce, cheated on the first husband with a third husband, different babies' daddies, marriage out of wedlock. She's so religious and stuff, but yet she's doing all the things that her Bible says that she shouldn't be doing. And this is their model, who the conservatives are looking at. So nice. Next story is Church of England clashes over same-sex blessings. A growing number of Church of England vicars are defying their bishop's orders to stop blessing same-sex couples. The controversy began after the House of Bishops announced that these services, approved for trial last year, must be paused until canon law is rewritten. Progressive clergy said the decision kills off years of slow progress towards LGBTQ plus inclusion. Reverend Gilles Fraser put it bluntly: the church blesses battleships, but not two people who love each other. That's bonkers. Despite the risk of punishment, several vicars have vowed to continue holding blessings. Conservatives argue that ceremonies resemble marriage too closely, while progressives call the ban a betrayal of trust. It's a reminder that even in 2025, faith and equality remain uneasy allies. Next, we go to Minnesota, where the Minnesota Supreme Court sides with trans weightlifter. In the U.S., athlete JayCee Cooper has scored a major victory for trans rights. The Supreme Court ruled that USA Powerlifting discriminated against her when it banned transgender women from competing in the women's division. In a unanimous opinion, Chief Justice Natalie Hudson wrote that the policy was direct evidence of discrimination under Minnesota's Human Rights Act. The ruling overturns years of legal back and forth and affirms that exclusion based on gender identity violates state law. It's a landmark case for athletic equality, and a reminder that sports, too, are areas of civil rights battles. We go to New York next for the mayoral debate reunites old controversy. As the final New York City mayoral debate begins, both Andrew Cuomo and Zohan Madani are touting strong LGBTQ plus records, but Cuomo's past is resurfacing. In 1977, during his father's campaign, he reportedly ran with the slogan, "Vote for Cuomo, not the homo," referring to then candidate Ed Koch's rumored sexuality. Decades later, the incident remains a stain on New York's political history and cautionary tale of how far we've come and how far we still have to go. Yes, do I think that's not great that he did that, but this was in 1977, so the world was a different place. So yes, if Cuomo did do that, it's not great, but it was so long ago. I think you forgive it and you vote for Cuomo if you feel like he is aligned with your politics, but maybe it's time to get rid of him anyway. So anyway, next, Canada's Drag Race makes her history. After years of fan requests, Canada's Drag Race is finally featuring a drag king, kind of. Season 6 introduces Velma Jones, who performs both as a drag queen and as their drag queen alter ego, Johnny Jones. Velma is also the first cisgender woman to compete on the Canadian version, joining a small but growing group of women in global drag race history. She told fans, "You're getting the special 2-for-1, Velma and Johnny. I can do anything like the others." The season drops November 20th on Crave and Wow Presents Plus. So that's in Canada. Next, Kit Connor joins new Andrew Haigh film. Heartstoppers star Kit Connor has joined the cast of A Long Winter, the newest drama from acclaimed director Andrew Haigh, known for All of Us Strangers and Weekend. The film follows a fractured family trapped in a snowstorm with its Haigh track record for emotional, queer-centered storytelling, and this is going to be a good film to watch. We all need to support Kit Connor. He's so cute. Chappell Roan raises $400,000 for LGBTQ plus youth. Pop powerhouse Chappell Roan just launched the Midwest Princess Project, raising $400,000 for trans and queer youth through her recent pop-up tours. Funds will go to organizations like the Ali Forney Center in New York City and the Trans Latin at Coalition in LA. She says every dollar possible is being donated directly to those who need it most. Next, hate crimes report shows alarming spikes. A new 5-year study by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue reveals a troubling rise in anti-LGBTQIA plus hate, online and offline. In the U.S., over 20% of hate crimes were anti-LGBTQ plus for the third straight year, and queer people remain 5 times more likely to face violent crime. Online hate also spiked at major political events, with trans communities still the most frequent targets. The findings show the urgent need for digital responsibility and real-world action. Next story is Russian coach blames bisexual West for Olympic ban. A Russian hockey coach has bizarrely blamed petty bisexuals like the French and German for Russia's continued ban from the 2026 Winter Olympics, which actually stems from the invasion of Ukraine. It's yet another example of scapegoating queer people for geopolitical fallout, because apparently accountability is out of season in Moscow. Next, a Dallas church goes rainbow pride after crosswalk ban. In Texas, Oaklawn United Methodist Church is turning protest into art. After Governor Abbott ordered removal of a pride crosswalk outside the church, leaders responded by painting their entire front staircase in rainbow colors. They are calling it a bold act of faith and defiance, proving that love will always find a way to shine through. If you haven't seen this, Google this, because the church did a really beautiful job of painting their staircase up to the main doors in rainbow pride colors. Next, we go to Tennessee, where Tennessee School District bans pride flags. Meanwhile, Tennessee school boards voted unanimously to remove pride flags from all schools, allowing only U.S. and state flags. Local faith leader Mary Beth Smith pushed back, saying 100% of students who see this flag won't turn gay, but it tells LGBTQ plus kids they belong. It's another battle in America's ongoing culture war, fought this time in the classroom. I mean, it was nice that this woman, this faith leader, Mary Beth Smith, is pushing back. I love to hear that. But, the people of Tennessee are probably like, well, we can't have our Confederate flag, so let's not have the pride flag. Next, we go to the White House website, stirs controversy. And finally, the White House has quietly updated its official site to attack past Democratic presidents, citing scandals and even conspiracy theories as justification for the destruction of parts of the East Wing this week. Among the bar inclusions, claims about Barack Obama's religion and Hunter Biden's drug use. The move is being widely condemned as the unprecedented act of political propaganda. I mean, can you believe that this is what they're putting in the White House about Barack Obama's religion and Hunter Biden's drug use? Is it the National Enquirer website or is it the White House website? I think they need to make a decision. That's all for this edition of Listen Up, Girl. If you're like staying informed and inspired and just a little bit outraged, make sure to follow and subscribe and share. I'm Zach Randles-Friedman. Thanks for listening. And remember, visibility is power and your voice matters. I will be back tomorrow with more LGBTQ plus news.